It's the Red River Farm Network Crop Tour presented by Pioneer. I'm Don Wick along with Tyler Donaldson, and Eric Lagge is with us, field agronomist. You've been hosting us as we've been crisscrossing the country today. First of all, thanks for taking care of us today and showing us some really fine country.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you taking the time to come across CTD with me.
Well, let's talk about a recap. Really, what did we see today?
Yeah, so we kind of got a big overview, I guess, of kind of midsection of our territory. I guess we stretched from near Jamestown, Tower City area. Now we're over by Castleton area here by Amenia, and there was some overarching themes throughout the day, but also some differences that we saw with planting and how that all went. So I guess just kind of breaking it down a little bit, we saw, some weather events that went through a lot of these areas early in the growing season. We did have some replant, like Levi Taylor mentioned, kind of set some of these crops back with some of that. We had those hail events, some wind, and so from a GDU standpoint, with being maybe a little bit cooler or on average of a growing season, a lot of this crop is sitting kind of early dent stage. So like Levi Taylor mentioned, that's roughly 60 days till you're harvesting, about 30 days until we hit physiological maturity. And that's all depending on the weather too, right? So we could be less or more depending on what we're picking up. On the soybean side of things, we're in that R5 stage, whether it's beginning R5 or closer to R6, and we have seen a lot of differences in those crop staging just depending on planting date. We had a window, as all these guys had talked about, in that late April time frame where we did actually get a fair amount of crop in some areas, and like Justin Johnson said, hindsight 2020. That was a good move this year. A lot of these corn hybrids, we've really made a lot of improvements on these stress emergence scores, and it really showed this year in a lot of fields. So we had that early planting window. Guys got even some early soybeans in that looked phenomenal and still do. And so we're kind of working our way through those growing stages. But, as all the other people have said on the tour, we need some time. So that's kind of the common theme throughout both our area and the state of North Dakota. But, with the way that we've been getting some hot spells here and there, I'm confident we'll make it through to the finish line.
Moisture has certainly been an issue in your area, probably more so than other parts of the region we've covered so far.
Yeah, I guess across our entire area, we've talked with all the guys, we're on average 120% to 140% of annual rainfall for just this growing season. So that's from April 1st on. So that's a lot of moisture, but overall, we've had some timely rains with that. But as you work your way closer, from Castleton southwest or south and east down by Leonard and continuing south, they had a lot of trouble early on with that moisture and just dealing with that. You got a lot less topography. Takes a lot longer for that to drain off, and so we actually had some drowned out spots we had to replant, and a considerable amount of prevent plant in those areas. So when you look across the state of North Dakota, those are probably the biggest areas of prevent plant this year, is in those flatter areas, kind of south and east of Castleton, all the way down to the South Dakota border.
That's prime corn country too, soybean country as well. As far as with all that moisture, white mold, any other kind of pressure that we've seen?
Yeah, so as far as pests and disease go, we talked a couple agencies talking about how they really were out spraying a lot of soybean aphids. As you continue to work your way west, Levi Taylor, his neck of the woods, there was some pressure, but as you get to that Valley City corridor, it kind of tamed down a little bit. So east of there, yeah, we had a lot of aphid pressure. A lot of guys ended up spraying aphids. So from pest management standpoints, there's definitely hot pockets this year. From a disease standpoint, white mold is kind of starting to poke out in fields here and there where we've seen pressure in the past, I guess. With the way that the growing season started out and was going, with the amount of rainfall we were getting during that flowering window, that was a huge concern. Kind of all the different factors that you look for in contributing to white mold infection were there, but we haven't really seen a ton of it pop out in fields. There's definitely pockets that we're starting to see it in some of these tree rows, real lush spots. So I would say within the next week to 10 days is when we're really going to see how that white mold impacts the soybean crop.
What kind of key products are you looking at? Particularly, we're in the selling season already.
Yeah.
Growers probably don't want to hear that, but we're already starting to think about 2025. Start with soybeans.
Yeah, so I guess we did a good job here. I thought this tour today, breaking down specific varieties that were really key to these agencies. And, we do have some overlap, but each one kind of has their product that really fits them well. So we started with Levi Taylor over on the west side of our area. That 06A38 has really been a staple out there, one they can really lean on and build a portfolio around when they're working with growers to kind of build out that seeding plan. But that one, is phenomenal white mold score, our best white mold bean that we have in our lineup, along with really good Phytophthora tolerance, which is really important in that pothole country. As you work your way east, Tower City area, we really start to see a lot more IDC pop up. So you start leaning more on that 08A44E. That is the industry leading IDC bean kind of in our area for that maturity. And we've got that on just a pile of acres from Hunter all the way down into South Dakota. It does a really nice job handling IDC, and growers are definitely seeing it this year. And then as you work your way east, Amenia area, they definitely still rely on that A-Series 08A44, but we're also really excited about this 06Z90. This Z-Series, it looks to be a step up in both yield and agronomics for us. And that's a tall order with these A-Series beans that we currently have. They've really relied on the 06A85E for a number of years. And so it was a tough one in this area to replace, but I think it's going to have it. We've seen a number of production fields in the area as well, and it's looking very good.
Now moving over to corn.
Yeah, on corn side of things, kind of a key maturity for our entire area along this I-94 corridor would be that kind of 88 to 90, 92 day range. So we talked about the 08 or the 8859. That one is our number one selling hybrid in the state of North Dakota. So it's a widely adapted product. We've seen it a number of years, have good confidence in it. Newer to that lineup would be the 900630 90-day product. We had out in a good amount of fields this year. Last year we just had it in plots, but really it's kind of a next level in yield. We were seeing that. So we're really excited about that one as well. Once again, kind of a widely adapted product is kind of the common theme, being able to handle these tougher areas, but then in the good ground, really have that top end. And then new to our lineup, which we just have in plots this year, Rush River actually got a very good look at this product, was one that we got in late to get into plots. We actually have it in 4 different plots in the area, and like Terry said, we also have a nice side-by-side as well. So we're going to get a really good look at it as far as placement, but as it's been coming through the research pipeline, the indications that we've got is it's once again another big advancement in yield. So we're really excited about that one specifically too, and helping build that package between, kind of a core of those products going into 2025.
Mother Nature holds the keys, but the obvious question everybody is asking is this crop going to make it?
Yeah, and like I said, everyone's going to need some time. For the entire state, that's been the common theme we've been talking about, and I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it's true. With some of this heat that we got the last weekend and stuff, it did kind of help move that needle. We're probably looking at mid-late September time frame on finishing this corn, hitting black layer, but at that point you're still 30 to 35% grain moisture, so we're gonna need to dry it down from there, which like Levi Taylor was saying with some of those time frames, once you hit dent like this, 60 days could be possible, another month after you hit that black layer time frame before we're harvesting, but give guys the time to get through this soybean harvest. And overall September, October can really be wild cards. So, there is still some uncertainty, but looking at some of these longer range forecast models, they're predicting a little above average for temperature and a little below average for precipitation. So those are all things that we're definitely hoping for as we progress in through September.
That would be perfect. got a lot of your agencies that are having plow days and field events coming up. Folks should make sure that they're checking in with their local Pioneer rep.
Yeah, if you haven't yet or haven't heard about one in your area, we put on plot tours at every one of our agencies. We've got 13 plot tours we're doing from Fargo all the way out to Carrington here in the next probably 3 weeks. So if you haven't heard about it, talk to your local Pioneer representation, and we will definitely get you the details on that. Our Pioneer team, we make it out to every one, speak at all of them, and answer any questions you might have as we're walking through plots, kind of starting to get the wheels turning on 2025 already.
We'll have Pioneer at Big Iron as well. Eric, again, thanks. It's been a great day.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Eric Lagge with us, field agronomist with Pioneer. It's day number 3, the Pioneer Crop Tour, the Red River Farm Network Crop Tour presented by Pioneer. We're going to be hitting the road into Minnesota starting tomorrow.